alive.
What is language to me? Have you ever been frustrated by the experience of not being able to communicate clearly? Like you've got your message burning inside, you want to let it out, you really want to, you've tried, but only you understand. Only you know. Therefore, are we alone? Are we trapped in worlds unknown with a frequency of light that only resonates with our eyes? Or is it really possible? I mean, is this just an illusion, a possibility in disguise? Can we really express ourselves 100% on demand so that someone else truly and completely understands? Or are we alone? I notice that sometimes ideas, feelings, thoughts among others just float around in our minds like astronauts on spacewalks, and sometimes nothing ever comes out in expressible words, in rather deep talks, and it's true. In language, expressing yourself in words isn't the only thing you can do, but even gestures and art sometimes doesn't carry the weight off the shoulders of your mind, and sometimes they leave people with less of a clue. But it's real. We are alone, and I should have known, because no matter how hard I try to think outside the four walls of this box, I still remain in my zone. I still remain in my mind that has living expressions in color, with stories never told, expressions never shown. And in this world of mine, these members of the spectrum are everything. These lights represent people that have unique coloring like blue. He works for the Navy but never throws grenades. He fights for peace but in the daytime throws shades. He's truly a jolly good fellow. Yellow is always sick with a fever. Brown tries to be sweet like sugar. Gray is always unhappy. We got colors feeling sympathy, and these colors represent ideologies in reality. Sometimes these colors go to war in the battle of the arts. And even though sometimes these unsettlements are quiet, they most often explode in full-blown color riots, paintballing on the battlefield, fought with swords and shields, fought with arrows and rainbows, prisoners receiving strokes causing splashes on the property. And these colors represent certain human beings in reality, but fun. Fun isn't a foreign concept, you see, it's very well done. Colors gets married and you know what comes next. Colors go into the bedroom and then they have fun. Some love swimming and they live around the seas and rivers. I call these watercolors, and sure, these ones do shady things beneath the surface. Yes, in the dark, and when these operations create sparks, they'd be the first ones preparing for the battle of the watermarks. This is their identity. And these colors represent abstract concepts in reality. Just like us, colors fall in love. Don't ask me why. Maybe it depends on the era, but they dance in the night sky. They've called it the aurora, the northern lights. These colors are always shifting and changing shape and can't quite be expressed to humanity. Sometimes my colors have no words in any earthly language, so I keep it in and zip it up. And sometimes no one can visit my colorfully icy world. It's sickening, so I shut it up. And oh, this world keeps reminding me of this versatile planet, malleable by nothing else but me. I wear a coat of many colors, yet I'm colorless. I don't speak the language of all the colors perfectly, so I guess occasionally I'm powerless, and no one sees these colors. I created this world, and no one has ever come in. Everyone, consciously or subconsciously, has created a world of their own, perhaps their happy place, where they seek with the assurance that they would find. But to each other, we are rather colorblind. If these worlds we've created manifested and all our colors spilled into each other, oh my god, that would be a colorful disaster. That's when we will see our true colors. This is how it feels like. This is how it all feels like in my head. If you could take a trip into my mind, you'd see raw expressions, the pigments of my imagination. You see, I don't have to express myself to myself because these colors already know me. But in this real world, I must show me. I must deliberately push to express, cry to show distress. I have to dance, write, draw, and sing my song. But sometimes I'd rather just stay in my mind where nothing can go wrong. There's a language only you can understand, no matter how hard you try to teach it to someone. Light! Give me light was the wordless cry of my soul. Don't we all scream for light though? Hoping that the slightest ray would emerge and illuminate our beings, set us free from what we so desire to express but can't. Language rides with the urgency to be saying something, a something we can't quite express, a something we may never be able to express. You see, we have been tasked to revel in our white darkness alone. In the still dark world in which I lived, Keller's idea shows that she had zones nobody else knew of, a world of horrors which supports the existence of idiosyncrasies. Keller understood this sufficiently, and though our cases may not be as extreme as hers, it remains true on a certain level. So guys, what is language to me? You can never see through my eyes or understand through my mind. See, language is rich in complexity, is as busy as a bee, buzzing with versatility. Language varies from person to person, so understanding has no guarantee. Why? Why does all this matter? It is because the primary purpose of your life, besides living for His glory, might just be to find this language that best conveys you. Perhaps silence could be its own language too. Ultimately, this shows that there is only a certain frequency of light that people can see around you. Though we run our selfish races, there are still relationships that are true. There is still the presence of consent. Communication happens at nearly 100%, and there, right there, is the maximum. Maybe one day we'll come out of these worlds. Maybe one day we'll understand that the bird in our hands either lives or dies because of our decisions. Ultimately, this shows that each and every one of us is partially blind, but vision can be slowly restored when we spend time getting closer and closer and closer, till one day the barriers preventing mutual understanding fades away and we are no longer alone. Until then, hold the bars of your prison cell, cause there would always be stories that you can never tell. Now if you understood this, then I successfully brought you to a place which my expressions could be voiced, where our minds were almost joined. But if you couldn't understand this poem, then that further proves my point.